A question I often get asked is, can I pass my negative entity on to others? Should I stay home and not expose myself to other people? Because I've been suffering for a long time, and the last thing I want to do is cause somebody else to have this same issue. Well, let's talk about that in this video. The short answer to that question is actually no. A negative entity is a scheduled event. It is part of your soul contract. So you are supposed to get one in this life if you have one. Someone else that you interact with, they're not supposed to necessarily get one, so you're never going to pass that on to them. Unless, of course, they're also scheduled to get one. And then, in that case, your exposure to them may cause that to happen. But it was going to happen anyway. So you don't have to feel guilty about that situation. Another thing that can happen is that other people can experience your entity. So especially people that live in the same house, they might hear some sounds or actually feel its presence. This is normal, and until you get rid of yours, you won't be able to solve their problems. Another being that can experience your negative entities are often your pets. I've had people come to me that say that their dog or their cat is reacting very negatively to them, very scared or hiding, or just won't come around them, or maybe even bark at them or something to that effect. What's happening is they're actually detecting, seeing, hearing, feeling your negative entity. And I've had people go through my program where at some point, after I've taught them how to remove their entity, their animal goes back into its normal behavior. It's not afraid to go up to them and cuddle with them and be around them. And there was one situation where we had done this, and then all of a sudden the dog started responding again in the same way that it had before when it was afraid of the entity. And of course, that indicated to that client that, oh yeah, that entity did come back. And so she was able to do what she needed to do to remove it for herself. And then the dog came back in its loving way. So it's kind of a wonderful way for you to see if you have one or not, if you have an animal who is reacting to it. But I don't want you to worry either, because your pet is responding to it. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's suffering in the same way that you are. It's just that it can detect it and its behavior is changing as a result. For some, your animal could even be a guardian, and it can help protect you from the entity causing as much harm or warding it off in the first place. We've definitely seen that before. And sometimes people will add an animal to their lives and see a difference in their entity experience. That doesn't mean that that is a solution to negative entities, because a negative entity is there, like I said, as a scheduled event. It's supposed to happen in your life. And as a result, it's your duty and your mission to do the work that you need to do in order to remove the entity. So it's not about the entity, it's about you and you doing what you need to do, resolving those childhood traumas, helping yourself step into your power, or any number of other things that will make a huge difference in your life, much bigger than just your entity situation, where maybe you're going to discover your spiritual gifts or understand what your purpose is here. So ultimately, I do not want you to be worried about passing your negative entity on to others. Some people are Reiki practitioners or other light workers. In those situations, sometimes the light worker, because they're working on someone who has a negative entity, will actually remove the entity, and then it will attach itself to the practitioner. This is usually a very temporary experience, and it is common for those who also have work to do to resolve those childhood traumas or step into their power or any number of other things. Once they do that, then they can help their clients as much as they want to and never have to worry about negative entities ever again. Ultimately, the answer to the question is no, you're not going to pass your entities on to someone else unless they have their own demons that they have to resolve on their own. I'd like to go ahead and provide a negative entity removal activation. This is quick and easy, and depending on the actual entity situation that you are experiencing, the feeling of the release of the entity will either last a nice long time, if not forever, or it'll last a very short amount of time because you have those issues to work through. This will at least be a temporary relief for any negative entity situation you might have. Sometimes it's reported that it's only a few seconds. Again, it all depends on you and your specific situation. So let's go ahead and do this activation right now. So you can close your eyes and take a nice big deep breath. And relax. Relax as you exhale. Feel yourself settling into your chair or to the bed or wherever it is that you're sitting or laying. And this activation is nice and quick and simple. I'm going to say breath in. When I do, you're going to take a nice big deep breath and you're going to hold it at the top and you're going to wait for me to make a loud explosive sound. And then you can exhale, removing any negative entities. Breath in. Awaken. Excellent. That's all there is to it. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right. Thank you so much for participating in that activation and watching this video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what your situation has been in the case of other people experiencing your negative entity. It is very common that other people in the household will experience them. And rest assured that when you take care of your issues, when you're able to remove your negative entity yourself, which is something that I teach people how to do, then the rest of the folks in your household will no longer have to deal with entities moving forward. Thank you again so much for watching. I love you unconditionally, and I'll see you in the next video.